day 2 of Bhagavad Gita, and today we're going to begin second chapter. And before that, I would like to sing quickly 2 lines, kind of a prayer, meditation, bhajan, whatever you might uh, feel appropriate as a name to call it. शिव कैलाशो के वासी ढोरे डारो के राजा शंकर संकट हरना शंकर संकट हरना हो भोले बाबा शंकर संकट हरना शिव कैलाशों के वासी डोरे ढारो के राजा शंकर संकट हरना शंकर संकट हरना हो बोले शंभु शंकर संकट हरना। मेरी आवाज़ दुनिया के जिस जिस कोने तक पहुँचे वहाँ सभी के संकट शंकर हर ले और हम सबको एक नई ऊर्जा पॉजिटिविटी के साथ ब्लेस करें। So yesterday we started this Srimad Bhagavad Gita and we covered the chapter 1. I first gave you introduction of Gita, what is Gita, how many chapters are there, how many shlokas are there, and we started the first chapter yesterday itself, wherein we spoke about the overwhelming feeling that Arjuna started going through. The first chapter we covered with 47 Sanskrit shlokas, Arjun Vishad Yoga, and today we're going to talk about chapter 2 that consists of 7 to 72 shlokas and known by 2 names, either Sankhya Yoga or Jnana Yoga. So I told you that I am referring to this English Bhagavatam Gita by ISKCON, and today moving on to chapter 2, contents of the Gita in this summarized. It goes like this, that Sanjay is telling everything, a telepathic live telecast of what's going on. Sanjay is telling that in the courtroom. He's saying that seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind is depressed. Okay, he's full of compassion within his heart, Arjuna, and he's very, very depressed. He's grieving. Okay, he's in grief. And his eyes are full of tears. And Madhusudana, which is the name of Krishna, we also did yesterday various names of Krishna like Gopala, Madhusudana. So Krishna spoke the following words. And this is not a book reading, like I said yesterday, I'm not reading book by book. But the main gist of it, the notes, the content that I am reading, and then few lines from the book and then explaining it in my words with some examples. So Krishna is, Madhusudana is now telling Arjuna that material compassion. So today, let me tell you this, that one, we will not be able to complete the second chapter because it's relatively longer. So we'll split it into 2 days, today and tomorrow. Secondly, this whole chapter is about self-realization. I will not say self-reliance and just self-worth, but it has more to do with your self-realization and also compassion. Compassion is a big word. In Hindi, karuna. And often, like many other words, we misplace compassion. Okay? So we have to be very, very careful in terms of where to use compassion and where not. We are at times misusing it in the name of our weakness. That's exactly what Krishna is going to tell Arjuna now, that you have to also make a choice where to show compassion and where not. So he's using a word known as material compassion, which is not healthy. So, like we say, material desire, materialistic desires, right? So, similarly, materialistic compassion, which is just an attachment. And if you're a spiritual seeker, if you're in Krishna consciousness, then you have to get detached. So, a healthier, much more healthier form of compassion shall emerge, okay, which has more to do with self realization. So, here he's planning to run away to the forest. He's okay with begging but not fight. So, this is unhealthy compassion, and here Krishna or Madhusudana or Gopala is referring this as material compassion. So tears are sign of ignorance of your real self. They make you weak. Compassion for the soul is actually self-realization that we all need to strive for. Also, Krishna, like I explained to you yesterday, is known as Madhusudana because he killed the demon named Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding. So Arjuna is still thinking that there's been a big misunderstanding and he is seeking refuge in Krishna. Okay? So now, no one knows where the compassion should be applied correctly. Even in today's world, we don't know where to apply it. Okay? People often come to me for counseling wherein they're crying for their ex-partners or their partners who've left them, but they're still crying for them and they feel compassionate. And in the process, they're sulking and they're spoiling themselves. So, first, I tell them you talk about compassion for your own self. If there's not enough self love, then how do you expect somebody else to love you? Like I say, self love, this is my quotation, is directly proportional to your partner's love. So, we over and over keep going back to self realization, your own soul first. So, I'll read this one more time because it's extremely important according to me. No one knows where compassion should be applied. It's not a random thing. Okay? Just like your energy and money. When I give example of money, then everybody, all of you will understand. Just like energy and money, you will spend wisely. Where to spend and where not to spend. Similarly, compassion, you need to think about it, where to apply it and where not to apply it. For example, if a person is drowning, there's no point feeling compassionate about his dress. You can't be saving just the dress and the person is drowned, okay? So it has to be rightly applied. Now, if I ask you who was the first disciple of Bhagavad Gita, of course it was Arjuna. He heard that directly from the mouth of Krishna, the pearls of wisdom. Correct? So now, moving on to, and I'm sorry for this little shaking of the video. I was traveling the whole day after my morning classes and I return and just go online and I realized that there's not enough battery. So I'm just holding it in the hand. So just, if it is distracting, you can switch off the video and just listen to the audio. I'm trying my best to hold it with the grip because I have to refer to the book also. Now, so the true realization is only possible when you get detached to the result also. You have to just fight without thinking about whether you're going to win or you're going to lose. That should not matter. Now, what is absolute truth? Now Krishna is talking, he is telling Arjuna, and Sanjay is watching all this and telling this in the courtroom. So the supreme truth has three stages basically. The ultimate truth has three stages, which are, first stage is Brahman, second stage is Paramatma, and the third stage is Bhagwan. Bhagwan, we know, Lord Krishna. Paramatma is inside us, our soul, and Brahman is the external. So it is explained with the example of sun. Okay. When we talk about sun, they say that these three different aspects exist even in Surya. How? Sunshine is one aspect, the sunshine, the sun rays that sun emits. Second is the surface of sun. It's burning, right? A lot of combustion of gases happening there. And the third is sun, the planet itself. So three different levels of grading or intensity. And the person who understands just the sunshine is a beginner in spirituality. Similarly, the person who just understood Brahman is just the beginner. These are all totally different ball games altogether, different levels, different grades together. Similarly, the person who dives into little further depth, discovers and explores and then discovers about the surface of sun. Further, if somebody is content and wants to stay there for the rest of his life or 5 lifetimes, that's okay. But if somebody dives down further and cares to go within, then he goes into within the secrets of the planet. Okay, so that level is your Bhagwan. Deeper in spirituality. So Bhagwan was explained by Parashara. We all know who Parashara Rishi is. We do Vedic astrology also on his name. He was the father of Vyas, Vyasdev. So he formed this word in Sanskrit, Bhagwan, that we are talking about. Then Aryan, again we very loosely use this word Aryan race. What is Aryan race? A lot of time when I used to be part of travel groups, people used to talk about original Aryan races on some mountain top somewhere near Manali, and they don't allow people to enter. A lot of people want to go and enter there because the weed is available locally and whatnot. However, the real word Aryan is applicable to people who value their life, and their civilization or their society or their community is actually based on spiritual realization. So they live in total awareness. They're not living their lives randomly as a community. Not like here, somebody is spiritual, somebody is not, different people have different belief systems. So they have calibration there, okay, in terms of their spiritual realization and spiritual beliefs. What is calibration? Everybody is at the same level. They calibrate, and whatever gaps or variance are there, they mitigate that. So now persons who are led by material compassion, they will not understand what is absolute truth, and they will not be Aryans. Okay. Then, Arjuna is so disturbed that he tells Krishna, who's actually his cousin, they had a blood relationship, Krishna and Arjuna, and that's why Krishna keeps calling him Parth. And they were friends also, But then now Arjuna finally goes to the refuge of Krishna and he says, "You're my master, you're my spiritual guru. I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what's the right thing to do. You give me gyan, you give me guidance, and I shall follow with total surrender." Okay? So Krishna is smiling that one of his friends has chosen to make him a teacher. So that is happening. So Arjuna is basically abandoning the battlefield. Okay? And which is not befitting him. Okay? And Krishna is doing some of the topping. He's not yet started the Bhagavad Gita, but he's saying, Arjuna is telling him, how can I counter-attack with arrows in battle, with men like Bhishma, Drona, who are worthy of my worship? My grandparents, my seniors, my teachers, I need to worship them. How can I attack them? वो तो पूजनीय योग है, पूजा के समान योग है. So they are at a respectable position. They are my respectable superiors like Bhishma, grandfather, Dronacharya, the teacher. They are always worshipable. Even if they attack, they should not be counter-attacked. वो तो इतने पूजनीय कि वो मुझे मारे, पीटे, मुझ पे हमला करे, फिर भी मैं सहूँ, बर्दाश्त करूँ. जैसे वंस अपॉन अ टाइम मुझे याद आ रहा है, मेरे पिताजी कहते थे, मैं गाली भी दूँ तो तुम्हारे लिए वो अमृत होना चाहिए. बड़ों के मुंह से तो गाली भी अमृत ही होती है. यही हमारी कंडीशनिंग की गई है. ऐसा नहीं कि गलत है, बड़ों का भी गाली देना बिल्कुल गलत है, नॉट अलाउड, है ना. बट कंडीशनिंग ये होती है कि वो भी प्रसाद समझ के ले लो भाई, बड़े अगर गाली भी दे रहे हैं तो. ओके, सो दिस इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट इज रेफर्ड हियर. They should not be counter-attacked even if they attack. And in a general etiquette, if you talk about a value system, even if you're superiors, you cannot even get into a verbal fight with them. Okay? Even if they're harsh with you sometimes in their behavior, even if they treat you harshly, you have to just take it, whether you like it or not. So you're compromising on your self-respect, your dignity, and slowly, slowly it becomes part of your personality. The toxic relationship, abusive relationship, and then that vibration engulfs you, and you continue attracting more toxicity in terms of situation and people in your life until and unless you stand up for yourself and break the pattern. Now then he says, how is it possible for Arjuna? So I'm relating, see, I'm also relating Srimad Bhagavad Gita to today's day-to-day life, which is the most important thing. So I'm relating that also. That's very important. Okay, because like I said yesterday, this Bhagavad Gita happened ages back. Why are we studying it now? Why is it being taught in Oxford? Why is it a curriculum in MBA courses? Because it has to offer something in present scenario. So we have to keep relating it. I think we have a little bit charge for it to go for another 5-10 minutes. So let's like stabilize it. Okay. So then he says, would Krishna ever attack his own grandfather or teacher? Okay, so there kind of arguments also going on right now between Krishna and Arjuna. So those are arguments. Okay, he's argumenting that why should I do this? I don't want to do that. So it would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of lives of great souls who are my teachers. If they're killed, everything will be enjoyed, but it will be tainted with their blood. खून में हाथ सन जाएंगे, फिर ऐसे राजपाट प्रॉपर्टी का क्या करूंगा मैं झगड़ा करके उनसे? वो तो मेरे बड़े हैं ना, वो झगड़ा करे मैं सब छोड़ के जाके भीख मांगता हूँ, मुझे नहीं चाहिए कुछ भी, खून से हाथ नहीं रखने मुझे. So basically a teacher who himself initiates such things has lost the respect. Krishna is trying to explain him, okay, and deserves a different treatment. So, but Arjuna thinks that nevertheless they will always remain my superiors. No matter what they do, right or wrong, they will only remain my superiors. And therefore to enjoy material profits after killing them is like with their tainted blood. I would not enjoy that. Nor do we know which one is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. So he's in a dilemma. अर्जुन के अंदर बहुत उधेड़ बुन चल रहा है, बहुत ज़्यादा, है ना? वो अंदर ही अंदर घुट रहा है और मैं इस फीलिंग को समझती हूँ. So Arjuna did not know whether he should fight, with all this unnecessary violence, and whether he should refrain and then for rest of his life live by begging. Okay, so if he did not conquer the enemy, begging is his last resort, and he's compromising on his self-esteem also. Okay, then nor was there any certainty of victory. Both the parties might feel कि हम जीतेंगे, but युद्ध के आखिर तक आप नहीं कह सकते कौन जीतेगा. कौरवों को लग सकता है हम जीतेंगे, हमारे पास ज़्यादा सेना, ज़्यादा पैसे, ज़्यादा पावर है, मिटा देंगे उनको, बट आखिर में क्या होगा? जस्ट लाइक गेम ऑफ क्रिकेट इन द लास्ट बॉल यू डोंट नो हु विल विन. लगता है ये कंट्री जीतेगी, बट लास्ट बॉल में कुछ कमाल हो जाता है. सो इन द विक्ट्री इज नॉट सर्टेन. इन द वॉर ऑल्सो यू डोंट नो हु गोना विन, who will open what cards, what will happen, right? God only knows that. And even if the victory happens, then what's the point? He is saying, okay. So obviously Arjuna has compassion, he's enlightened, he's thinking all this. That means he's mentally stable, he's not mad, he's mentally stable. If he can do all these calculations are running in his mind, he's evaluating all this, which means that he's so pure hearted, which means that he has his senses and mind under balance. He's just in grief. It's not his weakness, he's in just grief. Okay, he's because even willing to beg, so he's quite fit, and he's detached. He doesn't need anything. He's willing to go to the forest and beg. So he's also detached. He's not basically fighting for money or property or whatever. So he says, I am confused. What should I do? And I'm asking you, please take me as your disciple Krishna and guide me what I should do. Okay. So now family attachment, Krishna is telling him, is present in lower animals also. Have you seen a cat? अगर एक बिल्ली ने बच्चे दिए हैं तो कोई वहाँ जाता है तो कैसे वो उसको प्रोटेक्ट करती है? तो such attachment at times becomes futile. That is what Krishna is trying to explain him, that such family attachment is present in lower animals also. Okay, and uh, so like I said, Arjuna is now going to become the first disciple of the Bhagavad Gita, so and he heard it directly from the mouth of Krishna. You hearing it from me, okay, like that. So Arjuna was putting forward so many arguments based on knowledge of principles and moral codes. Moral codes and principle, we should not utter a word against our seniors. Whatever seniors say, we should take it like that. So he's just in that fixation, plus the family, खून के रिश्ते की कशिश, इन दो चीज़ों में वो बटे हैं. So the science of Krishna or Krishna consciousness जो भागवत गीता में है. So Krishna says, even if there's economic development, material comforts, that or your family, social, national, international status, whatever, that has nothing to do with all these things. Okay, people can go to the moon also, a different planet. Still everything can go away in one stroke. You build empires, you make कोठीज, you make whatever, एक झटके में जा सकता है सब. आप अलग अलग ग्रह पे चले जाओ. Okay, who's this US guy who's taking everybody to Mars? Okay, people are going to moon, but again that all can be taken within one stroke. So now Sanjay is watching all this, all the arguments happening between Krishna and Arjuna, and he's telling this to Dhritarashtra, and Dhritarashtra is so happy that Arjuna is going to run away, leaving the battlefield, which means oh victory हो गया, मेरा तो कौरव मेरे तो बच्चे जीत गए, कि चलो वो भीख मांगे, कुछ भी करे, जान छूटे मेरी यहाँ से जाए, so like that. And whereas Arjuna is competent of everything, but he's in grief, वो काबिलियत होते हुए भी वहां से सब कुछ छोड़ने जाने के लिए तैयार है. ये उसकी कमजोरी समझ रही है दूसरी पार्टी, उसका प्यार नहीं देख पा रहे. वो प्यार की तो कदर ही नहीं थी. अगर प्यार की कदर होती तो 5 गांव देके खत्म करते ना. उन्होंने तो सब कुछ छोड़ दिया और बात खत्म करने के लिए कहा, तुमने चलो हमारे द्रौपदी का चीरहरण भी कर दिया, तुमने लाक्षागृह में आग भी लगा दी, तुमने सब कुछ कर दिया, अज्ञातवास में भी हम पड़े रहे. 5 गांव देके एक भाई का एक गांव खत्म करो. तो अगर उनको रिश्ते की कदर या खून की कशिश होती तो ये दिन नहीं आता है ना. और अभी भी वो यही सोच रहा है अर्जुन. तो ये उसका प्यार है जो उसकी कमजोरी देखी जा रही है. सो ही इज ग्रीफ स्ट्रकन. Okay, so grief stricken Arjuna is the word that is used here. And then Krishna is trying to tell him that you're mourning for what is not worthy of grief. When they don't love you, then what is the point of this grief? You are thinking of visualizing or imagining a relationship which doesn't exist. It's just a one-sided story. So to grieve about this doesn't make sense. And I think let's stop here today, so that we can internalize. I hope you've made a journal already like I requested yesterday. Excuse me. So notes banate jaएं. You're more than welcome to share your feedback through the comments if you have any. If you have any questions also, you can leave here. I will read them so that we can further improvise tomorrow. Tomorrow will be day 3 Bhagavad Gita, and we're going to continue. And we'll try to wrap up this chapter so that we can move on to the 3rd chapter, which is Karma Yoga. Because I am so excited and dying to come to the 11th chapter, which is Vishwadarshan Yoga, in which actually Krishna gave the Bhagavad Gita Updesh, So it will still take time. We've just started and we don't want to hurry up. हम छोटे-छोटे उसको टुकड़ों में करेंगे, but जो करेंगे अच्छे से करेंगे. समझ आना चाहिए. जल्दी किस बात की है? जितना करें कंठस्थ करें, उससे अच्छे से याद करें. और अब 2 दिन की लर्निंग होगी, कल day 1 आज day 2, तो उसको अपनी डे टू डे लाइफ में प्रैक्टिकली उतारें भी. आप जहाँ भी रहते हैं परिवार के साथ, माँ बाप, पति पत्नी, समाज, डिटैच होने का प्रैक्टिस करें. अपनी एक्सपेक्टेशन कम करने का करें, है ना. और एक दूसरे का ख्याल रखना अच्छी बात है, बट डिटैचमेंट अल्टीमेटली यू हैव टू मूव देयर. ओके, कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस में रहने की कोशिश करें. एक स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर के साथ अलाइन होना कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है ये यहाँ पे बता रहा है. और जो लोग दूसरों को प्यार करते हैं, ऐसा कंपैशन फील करते हैं, वो भी समझो उनकी क्या लर्निंग मैंने समझाया। और जो लोग जिनको प्यार मिल रहा है और उसकी कद्र और वैल्यू नहीं कर रहे हैं, जब प्यार मिलना बंद हो जाएगा तब समझ में आएगा, तो वो भी सिक्के का दूसरा पहलू समझे। और सबसे बड़ी चीज़ आज मैंने जो बात की, सेल्फ वर्थ, सेल्फ लव, सेल्फ रियलाइंस और कंपैशन। मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट जो आज की लर्निंग है वो कंपैशन के बारे में है। लाइक द वे जुडिशली वी हैव टू यूज मनी or time or energy. Similarly, compassion, you have to think and then spend it. Where to show compassion or where not is something also that needs to be watched at. It's not something to be just thrown or given away. Okay, because then it can be used in an unhealthy manner also. So you have to be very, very judicial with compassion also. With this, I would like to wrap up today's session, and take care of yourself. Have a wonderful sleep. People who are waking up in US and other countries, good morning to them. Have a blessed day, rocking day. Thank you so much for watching this, and do leave your comments for us to know what we are doing good so that we continue doing it, and how can we make it better. Thank you so much. I love you all. Thank you so much. While teaching you this, I'm also learning myself. I have been thinking of conducting these Bhagavad Gita classes since last 5 years, but I think it was destined to happen now. And I can relate it to it, uh, each and every word right now. Okay, that's how I'm able to explain it to you. Like I used to say in the past, I get healed myself when I healed you. I repeat, I get healed when I heal you. Thank you so much for being there. Namaste.